Hello, I'm a guy that likes to talk about music, and I received an odd request from a friend of mine, or maybe more of a suggestion, that I do a video about songs about vampires. And oddly enough, I can actually do that. I've mostly been talking about 80s music here, and so these songs are all going to be from the 80s or around the 80s. Let's see how many of these I can get to this morning. First one I'll mention is Concrete Blonde. Bloodletting, aka the vampire song. Now, of course, I'm going to start with this one because if you're talking about vampire songs, one that actually has the vampire song as a subtitle is going to come to mind. But it's good to let you know that it's a vampire because it doesn't sound like a vampire song. Otherwise, I'm going to think it's a blues rock song about going to New Orleans where it's all nice and green. Yeah, it just doesn't sound like anything gothy. It sounds more bluesy, country rock, something. It doesn't sound like anything you'd hear like, I don't know, in a vampire movie. It sounds more like something that you would hear on Sons of Anarchy or something. The song came out in 1990. Concrete Blonde they were like an alternative rock group, I guess, with a female singer. And in the song, she does sing about bloodstains and cracked mirrors, and of course, going to New Orleans. It was inspired in part by Anne Rice novels. Yeah, I remember a time when if you sang a song about vampires and you mentioned any place, it was Transylvania. But then after Anne Rice, so many mentioned New Orleans instead. Uh, so I guess New Orleans is the new Transylvania. Speaking of New Orleans, next, Sting, Moon Over Bourbon Street. Speaking of New Orleans, Bourbon Street is a famous street in New Orleans. This was yet another song inspired by Anne Rice novels. But that shouldn't be too surprising coming from Sting because Sting often wrote songs about novels. That's why so many of the Police songs didn't make any sense to me because they were based on books that I had not read. This song is a mellow tune. It sounds like it has a stand-up bass in it, and it has a tenor sax playing in it. If you're a Sting fan, you're going to recognize that sax, like how it sounds in An Englishman in New York, for instance. But this isn't An Englishman in New York. This is a vampire in New Orleans. Yeah, that stand-up bass and jazz, that sax gives it kind of a jazzy sound to it, I think. Like some smooth jazz, like you might hear in a Bourbon Street club, I guess. Anyway, next. Bauhaus, Bela Lugosi's dead. This one is a must because this is considered to be the first official goth rock song. This was released in 1979, and it's almost 10 minutes long, so it may not be for everybody. This song got some popularity when it was used in a movie called The Hunger. That was a vampire movie in the early 80s. It had David Bowie in it and Susan Sarandon. And it's a song that can get stuck in your head. I drove someone crazy at work one day because I had this stuck in my head, but only one small part of it. Undead, undead. I kept singing undead, undead all day long. I did that so much I even annoyed myself. But I couldn't quit. Undead, undead, undead. Anyway, but if you like that one, I recommend Soft Cell, Martin. Yeah, this is a spooky one, I think, a creepy one. It's got some music like someone is running from something or running away from someone. Doo-doo-doo, doo-doo, kill, kill, kill. Yeah, creepy one. Soft Cell was the band that did Tainted Love, Sometimes I Feel I've Got to Run Away, that one. And this song was based on a movie from the 70s called Martin. It's a movie about a guy who thinks he's a vampire. Unless, of course, you're one of the people who argue that Martin really was a vampire. I still don't think he was a vampire, though. I think Martin was just crazy. But that's just the way I saw it. And I feel like, yeah, he's not really a vampire in the song either. He's just a guy with some serious problems. Next, Fright Night, the Geils Band. This one is a bit more of a fun song, more of a Halloween party song, I guess. The Geils Band was the band that did Our Love's in Jeopardy and Centerfold. Of course, for a lot of us, we had no idea that the title of Centerfold was Centerfold. We just thought of it as the Na Na song, Na 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 Na. It was the Na Na song. Anyway, This song was done for the movie Fright Night. It was a good one too. Fright Night was about a teenage boy who lived in the suburbs, and a man moves into the house next door, and so the kid suspects that his new neighbor might be a vampire. And it's a good one, a fun '80s monster movie. I like the character of Evil Ed. I thought he was the best part of the whole movie. You're so cool, Brewster. Anyway. Next, Judas Priest, Love Bites. I wanted to get a metal song in here. This is one they did in the 80s, released as a single, but it being Judas Priest, it didn't get much radio play. I think this is actually the scariest of all these songs, for me anyway. Like I would feel real threatened by Rob Halford coming into my room. He sounds threatening in this song, In the dead of night, love bites, yeah. Okay, another metal song, Queensryche, The Lady Wore Black. Queensryche could be a pretty good metal band for those who didn't typically like metal. Like if you didn't like the hard, heavy metal, for those who are more into the alternative rock sound, maybe, I don't know if you could call them goth metal or not. But some of their songs could be described like that, I guess. And I wanted to get into this one. Bonnie Tyler, Total Eclipse of the Heart. Wait a minute. Total Eclipse of the Heart? That's about vampires? Kind of, sort of, yeah. It was originally meant to be a song about vampires anyway. A vampire love song. The songwriter was Jim Steinman. And Jim Steinman wrote a lot of songs that you've probably heard, no doubt. Anyway, he was once working on a stage musical about vampires, a love story about vampires. And, he deserted it. He didn't finish it, but he thought this song was pretty good, and so wanted to use it for something. So he gave it a different title and made some adjustments, and that song became Total Eclipse of the Heart. So you could say this is a song about vampires, if you want it to be about vampires. If you want it to be about vampires, then it's about vampires. And if you don't, well, then it's not. Anyway, I got a couple more here, but I'll get into that some other time.